I had a friend of the show write me a letter today. Well, actually, wrote it to me the other day, but I read it today, right? In the letter that I read, let me just read it to you. The person who wrote it says they were reaching out to prove to her cousin that black people aren't all millionaires and billionaires. Her cousin thinks all is well, even though she herself doesn't have money. Well, see, that's not ignorance, that's programming. Tonight, we're deprogramming with hard facts. I want to thank the person who wrote this letter because I think it gives us an opportunity to discuss something that doesn't get enough attention. Black Americans aren't doing well. In fact, most of America isn't doing well. You would think we would be doing well. I mean, we got this whole political party fighting for us. Joe Biden said if it wasn't for us, he would have never made it into office. "94% of black Americans are not millionaires." Yeah, very small percentage of black Americans are millionaires. We celebrate the few who make it so much that people think that it's normal. It ain't. It's not normal to be a millionaire. It's not normal for us. Maybe it's normal for some other people. I don't know. But it's definitely not normal for black Americans. If only 6% of people, that includes people with master's degrees, doctorates, lawyers, scientists, all the basketball players, everybody put together, fam, only 6% of them are millionaires. And we only got a handful of billionaires. There's only like 14 billionaires, black billionaires in the country. But see, we watch TV. We watch the movies, and every time we cut it on, they put a black person in a great position, like running a law firm or being a doctor of science, or I don't know, maybe it's Beyond the Gates. Everybody in Beyond the Gates got money. Oh, they killing it. Did you see the dresses? But in reality, for every $1 a black American has, a white American has 8. Yeah. I remember this skit when I was a kid, man. I forget who did it. I want to say it was something like Three Stooges or Tom and Jerry. Let me see if I get this right. How's it go? How's the joke go? So they find the cookies, or they find something they've been looking for, right? He said, hey, let's split this up even. Okay. He said, okay, I'm going to count it out. He said, 1 for you, 1 for me. 2 for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for me. Now you got 2. 3 for me, or 2 for me. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 3 for me. 3 for me. Yeah. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Get it? Every time he gave him 1, give himself 8. I've been waiting to use that one. The wealth income realities for Americans, so people understand where we're going. Because whenever I'm talking about the need for immigration to be different, whenever I'm talking about the hiring practices, whenever I'm talking about the schools ain't shit, whenever I'm talking about the gross inequality in this country, there's always somebody who doesn't get it. In fact, some people say, Tim Black, you are a charlatan, brother. You are a grifter. You're making all this money telling black people need to fight for black people. We need to all fight together. Ain't that what you've been doing with the Democrats? Listen, fam. In 2023, which is the most recent numbers I could find, right? So this is under Biden, under the Democratic president, not that evil Trump. Median household income in 2023 overall was $80,000. That don't seem like a lot of money, do it? I mean, not as well as you think you would be doing in the most financially rich country in the world. 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Well, that's of 2024. 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That means they need their paycheck every time pay run around. Or something will get cut off, or something might get repossessed, or somebody might be evicted. 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency, or they got to go borrow money from a friend or pawn something or sell something. 40% of Americans live this way. I'm sure my friend's cousin doesn't know that. Mind you, right here, I'm not talking about Black America. I'm talking about America in general. Make America great again. 40% of Americans can't cover $400 expense. That means if you get an abscess on your gum, you're screwed. If the tires blow, screwed. If more than one blows, you're screwed. Maybe you can ride on a donut for a week, but if you can't ride on the donut and it's more than one tire, or maybe your brakes go out. How many people ever had a good job, but couldn't get to it because you didn't have money to go? I remember one time I was working for this agency, right? It was like a temp agency. And I was making good money per hour. I think it was the most money I'd ever made per hour up to that point. And I was in my mid to late 20s. And I was doing a great job, man. I was killing it. They really liked my job. They really thought my work was up to par, man. I was exceptionally performing, right? I was performing so well that I got a phone call from one of the people from the agency. And they said, they love you, Tim. Look, Tim, the owner has a sister business in Virginia, but it's not metro accessible. If we rented you a car, could you go report there Monday? Fam, I wanted to cry when she said that. Not out of happiness, but out of shame. Because my ass didn't have a license. Now, my license got suspended. I couldn't afford to get it renewed. I owed back, insurance company payments. Had tickets I didn't pay. And I had to tell that woman, that nice white lady, I not only can't continue, I can't accept it. Not only can I not get to the location where the job was, where I was making the most money I've ever made, but I can't even drive a free car that you're going to rent me because my money ain't right. Anybody else ever been in that position? Just me, huh? Average American household debt is $100,000. That includes mortgage. Credit card debt average, $6,500, carrying balances month to month. So, damn, man, America's not doing so well. Let's talk about Black America, because the person who wrote this letter, I happen to know she's a Black American. And I'm pretty sure her cousin's Black. I'm not positive, but I think so. And you know it's bad when Black people don't know how Black people are doing. Yeah, when Black people have a false sense of how Black people are doing, they think, all this talk. We doing it, we killing it. We getting BBLs. Somebody got a G-Wagon. Nobody I know, but somebody got one. That guy who does the show about the money, he talks about getting G-Wagons. All you gotta do is, cross the T, dot the I's, throw it up underneath, catch it, flip it in the air, do a somersault, read the market, play the market, buy crypto, do some drop shipping. G-Wagon just shows up at your door. The Black American wealth gap is no joke. Median Black household wealth is $24,000. Median white household wealth is $190,000. So we got $24,000 to damn near $200,000. That's our median wealth. That's a 1-to-8 ratio. That's for that $1 to $8, $2, $16, $3, $24, $4, $32. You get it. Make that thousands. That's so funny now, is it? See, these are things I be thinking about when I have people telling me I'm wrong. You know, I'm grifting because I'm trying to help black people get this shit together because I care about the condition we're in. But when you read these numbers, you go, damn, well, maybe Tim got a point because, I mean, white America ain't killing it, but this sucks. We always talk about the black home ownership rate. 42.3% for black Americans, 74.2% for white Americans. Last I checked, Latinos were in the 50 range. So Latinos who just started really coming here in the 70s passed us by damn near 10 points. But, you know, Jim Clyburn loves you. Maxine wouldn't know what to do without you. It's always in your corner. Median black household income is $50,000. Median white household income is $81,000. The black poverty rate is 17.1%. The white poverty rate is 8.2%. So we're 2 times more likely to be impoverished. Child poverty for black children, 26.4%. America, all of America, black, white, Latino, Asian American, all that. We have 37.9 million Americans living in poverty. I know you're going to think I'm tripping, right? Damn near 40 million Americans are pretty broke. 40 million. Now, if tomorrow you woke up in whatever city you live in, and 10% of the people in your city all came down with a very vicious flu, you wouldn't go door to door to people finding out if they had the flu and say, why'd you get the flu? What'd you do to yourself? Why you have all this green stuff coming out of your nose and mouth? Why are you coughing that way? What'd you do that for? You're a loser. But see, that's what we do. I mean, common sense will tell you there must be something going around. There must be something in the environment that created this illness. How'd they catch it? Because too many people have it for it to be an individual problem. Right? Yeah, because you're smart enough to know you can't F up that much. Not everybody all at once. Not 40 million people. But see, that's what we do when it comes to money, because the people at the top pay people in the middle or the people on the bottom to lie to the people on the bottom and the people in the middle and tell them the reason why they're not happier, reason why they're not doing better is because something wrong with them. Because if we ever start to think maybe we're on the bottom and we're doing bad because of the way the system's set up and that somebody is benefiting from us being on the bottom, we might fuck around and join together and do something about it. Now, I would love for that to happen. But what tends to happen is we have people that want you to do better but never do as well as them. And they think they are angels for that. $13 million children live in poverty, which means their parents are in poverty because kids don't have jobs. And the reason why that 40 million number is so big is because there are a lot of seniors who don't have kids that are living in poverty. Because we don't care about old people. We step over them and keep it moving. And remember, I got a person that's friendly with the show, and I'm sure this person's done their best trying to tell their cousin the deal, and their cousin don't want to hear it. So we're helping a friend out at the show. We want her to be able to play this clip to her friends. So let's keep it G, Tim. Let's keep it G. Let's keep it 100. And let's not go off the rails, Tim, so she could share it. I remember, man, back in the 80s and 90s, I think it was the 90s, early 2000s, black people couldn't brag about much, but I remember we used to say things like, yeah, black people, we got violence in our community sometimes. We might shoot each other, but there's a problem in the white community. Their kids shoot themselves. Well, we can't say that anymore. We caught up. Yeah. Black kids are catching up to white kids in that category. Hey, man, they wanted equality. Let's talk about mental health real quick, just so our friends know. 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience mental illness. That's 57 million people. 57 million people. 1 in 5. American black adults, 21% report mental illness, but only 39% receive treatment. 52% of white adults receive treatment. I think that's actually up as far as more people receiving treatment. We used to joke about it. If you see somebody on the corner, I think it was Sinbad. Remember Sinbad used to say that joke that if you see a brother on the corner talking to himself, he's just working it out. The reasons why people don't get treatment: cost, number one, stigma, and lack of culturally competent care, meaning some people don't understand me. Why I'm going to talk to them about my business? Number one cause of divorce: money problems. Not relationships, not men cheating, not women don't cook. Money. Number one cause. I know that's not sexy enough for the people that want to make money being relationship gurus. It's crazy to say, man. We got all these relationship gurus. A bunch of divorced men telling men how to get women or how to win in relationships, and a lot of lonely women telling women that men ain't shit. I wonder. I'm sorry, fam. I'm sorry. Okay. Friend of the show's cousin. Black Americans are not doing great. If black Americans were doing great, our kids would be doing greater. They'd be doing better. I know you saw the show where the woman had the money and she had the nice job and she had the husband that was making all this money. And I know that does exist. It's just not as frequently as you think. The U.S. self-unaliving, the silent epidemic. They call it an epidemic because no one talks about it. No, they call it silent because no one talks about it. They call it an epidemic because it's a whole lot of people. Listen, the U.S. suicide rate is 14.2 for every 100,000. Now, historically, the black suicide rate was always lower, as I stated earlier. But black youth, between 10 and 24, their suicide rates increased 60% since 2007 through 2020. So the black suicide rate went up 60% in the last 10 years. Black children from 5 to 12 have higher suicide rates than white kids of the same age. If we were doing so great, friend, who's cousin or cousin of the friend of the show, would our babies be hurting themselves? And do you think our babies are hurting themselves for fun? Or is there some pain there? Is there something else going on maybe? We already talked about medical debt. We talked about student loan debt, food insecurity. Well, we didn't talk about food insecurity. That's a good one. 12.8% of black households versus 7% of white households are food insecure, meaning they can't keep enough food in the house. Student loan debt, black college graduates owe $25,000 more on average than their white colleagues or peers. In medical debt, 23 million Americans owe significant medical debt. And disproportionately, black Americans own the most. %60 of all Americans live paycheck to paycheck. This isn't a black problem, it's an American problem, but black folks are hit the hardest. See, when I'm talking about immigration, when I'm talking about the situations that we found ourselves in, we vote for the same party for 60 years, automatically like it's a religion. And I say, hey, we got to make some changes. It's not out of grifting. It's not out of hoping to build a massive following. At this point in my life, the only real hope I have is to leave a legacy for my children, to be on the right side of these issues for my people. Is not to sponge off my people. You may not have noticed or not, but I took quite a pay cut to do this because I wanted it to matter. It was more important to me that I do something that I truly believed in. And I'm sorry, fam, talking to a bunch of progressives and being their black friend, it may have been lucrative, but it wasn't the way that I wanted to live my life. At least not the rest of it. So that's why we do it. I'm not saying I'm a saint, but I'm saying if you believe that the way to go is to be a leftist or a progressive or a conservative or whatever you think, fine, I don't give a shit. But what I'm telling you is when I'm looking at these numbers, I come to a conclusion that black people need a certain type of assistance. They need to be prioritized because we're catching hell the most. But the same people that say they're so progressive and care so much about people don't believe that, even though we're 3 times more likely, 3 times more likely to die earlier, to have less, to struggle more. And now for our kids to leave early. And what do we get? We get people saying, oh, you're grifting, you're lying, you're just saying it. You. Man, it's fine to disagree with me. Sometimes I disagree with me. I'll be honest, sometimes I disagree with me. I come back and anybody that believes the same thing for 10 years hasn't grown. Anybody has the same exact thoughts, ideas as they did 5, 10 years ago. What you been doing for 5 or 10 years? You haven't grown at all? You haven't learned anything new? Still doing things the same way? Once upon a time, people knew their neighbors, man. I think that's the reason why this friend of the show, their cousin, doesn't know how black people are really doing. Maybe people don't want you to know. Maybe people keep it to themselves how things are really going. I mean, it's likely. I mean, except for TikTok, most people don't share their struggles online. But every time I turn around on TikTok, someone's sharing a story about someone's untimely death or some struggle, some horrible, some sad story. I will give it to TikTok in one way. It does remind you how fortunate you are to be alive and well if you are. Because them shits pop up all the time. I know it's not just me. All these numbers come from the Census Bureau, the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, the CDC, the American Psychological Association, and the Pew Research Center. None of these numbers I've shared with you tonight come from Tim Black himself, making up shit and pulling it out of my coffee cup. Hey, I'm not saying that all of white America is doing so well, but what I'm saying is, if white America woke up tomorrow and they were doing as bad as black America, you guys keep talking about a revolution or a civil war, there'd be one. But it wouldn't have nothing to do with us. It had to do with that government. It wouldn't be us. They know we ain't got the money. And anybody dumb enough to think black people are the ones getting the money, I don't know what planet you from. Really. It's okay to disagree with me. It's okay to have another plan. It's fine. Some of us have other plans. They want to do things like, I don't know, start food banks or clothing drives, GoFundMe's, all these types of things. And look, man, who am I to knock you for doing what you think is right? But all I'm saying is, I'm an information guy. I'm a commentator. My job is to talk about it, share thoughts. Come up with a game plan. I'm trying to. I think I have one. But first of all, what black people got to do is we got to stop believing the movies are true. Yeah, Ryan Coogler, nominated for 16 Oscars. You shouldn't even know who Ryan Coogler is. You know who Ryan Coogler is because there's so few black directors killing it that the few that are doing well are super exceptional. There are a lot of white directors who haven't made nearly as impactful movies as Ryan Coogler. And you don't even know who the hell they are. I dare say some of them are mediocre as fuck, but they're way more paid. %5 of lawyers are black men. 5% of doctors are black women. Even though you cut on your TV and you see one in every other sitcom or drama. Shit ain't real. I mean, it exists. You probably could also find a leprechaun if you look far enough. I'm joking. There are a lot of male doctors. There are a lot of black doctors and a lot of black lawyers. I'm saying. But I'm just saying, our shows, our movies, our music, all of that, it's propaganda, man. I mean, it's a good way to escape reality. But don't escape reality to the point you end up like a zombie off The Walking Dead. Don't be a biter. Don't be a walker. Okay. Thank you for the letter. Thank you for the request. Thank you for the suggestion that we cover this topic tonight. I think it's important for people to realize where we are. And then once you realize that we are in dire straits, that we are behind the 8 ball, that this shit is not a game, people are not making shit up, people are not playing. 40% of Americans can't afford a $400 emergency without borrowing shit or selling shit. In the press conference. That says it all, right? Or would you rather believe 40% of Americans just don't want anything? They all got victim mentality. That's it. They ain't hustling hard enough. They're not hustling hard like Gary Vee said. Oh, damn, they haven't invested in enough crypto. Like the guy who said he got a G-Wagon. Now they doing this. I noticed the guys that were talking about crypto and all this other shit, now they're doing this. Why are they doing this? Why aren't they doing the investment? Why are they over here trying to do? It seems like, I mean, I'm not doing the crypto. I'm not talking about investments. You know what I'm saying? I'm still doing this. Why? If all the investments was working out, why would you feel a need? You're not talking about ICE? You talk about things like news? Commentary? Really? Thought you was the investment guys. Don't fall for the hustle. No, they just like talking about it, Johnson. It's fun. All right, family. This is not the full blunt of the show. I got other shit I want to cover. Had some technical difficulties. You guys are not going to believe this, fam. I don't know if I got moderators in here tonight or what. Fam, I had technical difficulties. Had to reboot a couple times. I shit you not. Real talk. I jumped in here. I started the show and didn't realize I didn't hit go live. The second time. So I did that whole part I just did for you. It's probably a lot smoother than it was the first time. I had notes, but I've already done it once. I just wasn't online. It's all good. Now we get to the regular show. This is a part of the show where I use clips. We have commentary. I'd like to start off tonight. Chicago mayor. In fact, folks, I've been wondering, I've got a guest that wants to come on and talk about what's going on in Chicago on the ground, what's been happening in Chicago. A sister wants to come on. Can I get her name real quick just in case you might know her? P. Ray. P. Ray. She wants to come on from Chicago Red. So, and you know, I heard her in a space on X, and that's where I met her on the re-ups with Shut Up and Dribble and the rest of the crew. You know what I'm saying? So put a one up in the comment section if you know her and you wanted to come on the show, because we're about to talk about her mayor. Check this out.
Next up with Tim Black.
It's unfortunate that Greg Bavino's, that his legacy will take time for people to understand how nasty of an individual he really is. It's powerful that we have been able to effectively push back at local levels as well as in the courts around Gregory Bavino's activities. His dressing, his whole package, it is so familiar that I believe that it was blinding for some people. That it's clear, there's two things. One, it's clear that the far right in this country, that they have not accepted the results of the Civil War, and that they have longed for a rematch to have a republic that subjugates and subjects individuals to a permanent lower class. And that, again, when we have witnessed the largest upward transfer of wealth in any other time in American history, there's your evidence of the type of stratification that the extreme right in this country prefers.
My bad, people. Hey. Yo. You know what's amazing, family? I've come to the conclusion that there are people that just don't want there to be deportations. You know, they don't want people to leave the country that haven't been citizens of the country. They just don't want it to happen. You know, I mean, I could get upset. I could shout. I could roast his ass. You know, but at the end of the day, we got some black people that just don't give a shit about the black people that are struggling. We got a mayor who doesn't give a shit. He just doesn't care, fam. He just has in his mind, as many Democrats, that we need to open the door and let the whole world come in. It doesn't matter. I believe that there are people that are black people. We just talked about how you can be doing so well or not doing well and think this is the way I get into heaven. The Lord said, we got people that are doing well who could care less about people that aren't doing well. Fam, you cannot convince me into believing that this is a bonus or a plus for us. I don't see it, family. But Mayor Brandon Johnson does not care if it's a plus for us. What he thinks is it's a plus for the Democratic Party. That's the party he would like to have a career. I think you have to take everything he says with a humongous pound of salt. Not that Morton's either. You need some sea salt. Yeah, sea salt with the big fat crystals. Maybe some rock salt. Go get some of that and make ice cream with it. Family. Look, man, I'm not here to vouch for Bovino. But I find it like it's the people like Brandon Johnson that whenever things don't go the way they want them to go, whenever they have any adversity at all, somehow it's connected to slavery. No matter what it is. Family, like I do not want to side with the right, but I am tired, man, of these sellouts. Every time I turn around, man, comparing everything to slavery, you should have to have, I don't know about the Jewish community. You know, I've had a lot of friends, people that are Jewish that were friends. We never really talked about these things. But I have to imagine, if you were a Jewish person and every time people turned around, you were comparing their shit, what's going on, to the Holocaust, somebody of Jewish descent or someone within an organization run by those folks will pull you by your collar and say, shut the fuck up. Because that is an insult to all the people that died in the Holocaust. But no, Black Americans, we got people that parents come from other places, the islands. We got people who, came from Africa. Second generation Americans, I don't know. We got people that are foundational American, whatever, Black Americans, who every chance they get any adversity that they feel, anything that's irritating, is Nazis or slavery. How is deporting people back to their country where they'll be free to go in their country? How the hell does that have anything to do with the Civil War? I mean, really, what has that got to do with each other? No, man, being a slave, they took your freedom. You're not free to come to America and plant a flag. It's a country. You can't go to any other country and do this shit, family. You can't just go showing up in Mexico. You can't just go to other countries and be like, I'm here now. Give me money, a place to stay, a business to start. That's not how shit works. But see, when you're a Democrat, when you're an operative of the Democratic Party, things like logic, common sense don't matter. And also, those people that come here, they don't go to their neighborhoods. They go to the working class Black neighborhoods, working class neighborhoods in general, mostly working class Black neighborhoods, in my opinion. Because what you gonna do? Stop not giving money to the politicians? Nah. Anyway, yeah, I've talked about Brandon so much, man. I really don't have much else to say to him or about him. But, I'm sure there'll be something else later this week. We'll have an opportunity to roast him a little bit more. I just don't want to waste time on him. At the end of the day, this guy is an insult to Black Americans. It's an insult to Americans. And look, you may not like Bovino. You may not like the tactics of the ICE. They're the same tactics employed by the cops. It's just you weren't paying attention, obviously. I mean, I'm not even sure if ICE is less or more competent than your average police officer. We got so many damn police officers in the country. We got so many police running around. How would you really know who's more competent? How would you know who does a better job? Or, I'll just keep hearing them throw these numbers around. 32 people died in ICE custody. And then they do the scared face or the sad face. Man, in 2025, 32 people died in ICE custody. That includes people with the gout, diabetes, heart attacks. any type of situation, self unalivings. That includes any form of unaliving. It's not grouped it's not like people were taken out and thrown to the hounds or thrown off buildings like in Saudi Arabia or some shit. We're just talking about, you know, let's keep going, fam. Let me just keep going. I mean, it's like rest in peace to those people, but I'm tired of hearing Brandon Johnson and the Democratic Party try to paint this as the Klan or slavery or Nazis, when all it is the same, fam, it's the same. This process of deportations have been on the books. They were deporting people under Obama, and I didn't hear them people say Nazis. I didn't hear people talk about slavery. But these suckers, these grifters, these liars, they're going to use all the credibility, use everything that we have, that black people should be using for themselves to get out of the bad position financially that we're in, to get where we're owed as a people that built this country for free without getting paid, fam. Instead, they use that currency to help people that aren't even from this country. Why isn't Brandon up there using that currency, using that language for us? Why is he not saying they're trying to take the... Why is he not using these analogies when it comes to fighting for us? Why is it fighting for people that aren't from here? Nah, man, it would be like slavery if we were going to get people out of their country and bringing them here. That's what we did. Putting people out the country who aren't citizens is not slavery. That has nothing to do with slavery. Nothing at all. I see no connective tissue to that issue. Am I tripping, fam? Am I tripping, man? Look, hey, man, I really did, you know, I really searched to try to figure out what is similar to that. You know, we need to have a conversation with these people, man. All right, so let's keep going, fam. Let's keep going.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Preddy interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. On the morning of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36 and Park Avenue in Minneapolis. We arrived around 10:15 a.m. We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles. When they started driving away, the man kicked their taillight. An agent then got out of the vehicle, grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground. During the altercation, agents fired tear gas and pepper balls into the crowd. They continued to hold the man down before they retreat and he walks away. The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Preddy was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband. Here, he continues to stand at the scene. On the day he was killed, the Department of Homeland Security claims Preddy, a 37-year-old ICU nurse, approached officers holding a handgun. That claim has been contradicted by analysis of bystander videos from multiple news investigations, which concluded that Preddy was holding a phone, not a gun, when he was pinned to the street. Shortly after the altercation we filmed here on January 13th, federal agents drove away. Soon after that, we left the scene.
Next up.
Wow. Okay, fam. Well, it's Pretty. Alex Pretty seems like he may not have been such an angel. Yeah, get prepared for this one. Get prepared for white America. They did the same thing to Michael Brown. They do the same thing with all black victims. Burns, don't it? Every time a black man is killed by cops, we always end up knowing a whole lot more about the deceased black person than we know about the cops. No one ever goes through the cop's record, finds out if he beats his wife, if he's had a substance abuse problem, did he recently have a bad shoot? It's like no questions asked about the people that pulled the trigger. So I keep saying, fam, this is very familiar territory for us. Yeah. This whole Alex Petty thing's got me uptight, man. Yeah, it's got me tight because I got people that are bawling mad. They did Jimmy Kimmel bullshit. Y'all see Jimmy Kimmel losing his mind? Wait till we tell him about Sonia Massey. Yeah, man, wait till he hears about Sonia Massey killed in her own home. She wasn't even demonstrating anywhere. She hadn't even put her hands on a cop. She was just boiling food on her stove. He got shot in the face. She wasn't even driving a truck or a weapon. She hadn't even been ordered not to drive, to get out. And she was shot in the face a couple times. They didn't render aid or anything. Wait till Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and all the rest of them hear about this. Hell, Abby Phillip and Tiffany Cruz might hear about it too. I heard they were boo-hooing. We'll get to them in a little bit because they're very upset as well. Yeah, fam, it's like, I mean, if people wanted you to believe that they didn't give a shit about you, and they were like, damn, we need to come up with a way to let black Americans know we don't give a damn about what happens to you. If they wanted to come up with a way to do that, man, they would do exactly the same shit they're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they got a game plan. It's like the Democrats decided, you know what, fam? Let's insult the hell out of black people, y'all. Yeah, let's wait till somebody white gets killed, and then let's talk about how we need to all of a sudden shut down the government that we were just complaining about. The Republicans did it. Yeah, if they don't stop deporting people that cross the southern border without permission or paperwork or without going through the process, or people that have been stayed who had an order to deport. There was a woman who had a deportation order back in 2015. She gets deported finally in 2026, 2025, and they're doing a write-up on her as if no deportation existed. No deportation order existed at all. But she gets caught in 2025, and that's supposed to be our problem. Well, Democrats say they want to do a government shutdown. They're threatening to shut down the government if Trump does stop deporting people. Yeah. What if they said they shut down the government until they decided they're going to repair black Americans? They're going to give us that 40 acres and a mule. We got enough park land to do it. Got enough golf courses, right? We could do it. We could give us the 40 acres and a mule. It's funny how the people that say we don't deserve it, we're not owed anything, they have no problems letting those white people whose kids inherited land from their parents keep it. What about all the white families that got paid when the Emancipation Proclamation came? You know, the government gave white folks money because they lost their slaves and gave slaves nothing? Anyway, that's off topic, fam. Hey, I'm just tired of hearing about Alex Pretty as if This shit ain't real. It doesn't mean he deserved to get shot 10 times. But like as I said it before, after shot number 2 or 3, the rest was just noise. America been American for a long time. And ICE is police. And they're not doing anything that's far different than what police been doing. What do you think stop and frisk was? It's just like, fam, what do you think stop and frisk was? You know how long they had stop and frisk? In fact, they still have it. Stop and frisk was a policy against us. I don't know, maybe Democrats were upset about it. But I know Cory Booker, he was so upset about it, he started doing it in New Jersey. Yeah, he became the mayor and he started doing it because he saw how well it worked in New York. All I'm saying, fam, is it's a bunch of bullshit, man. Alex Petty was no Catholic schoolgirl, straight and narrow, staying out of trouble type individual. Doesn't mean that what happened was just. I think what happened was against the law. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a liability in that Minneapolis is going to pay his family a lot of money. That's what I believe, because that's the same thing that happened to Terrence Crutch's family, what happened to Alton Sterling's family. That's what happens. They pay money, but those cops are not going to go to jail. Those ICE agents aren't going to go to jail. Qualified immunity. That's what's going to happen. But Democrats know it too. All this noise, all this ringing, pearl clutching, and all this overacting, and we already know what's going to happen. I mean, if you shove, you get an elbow to the agent, he grabs you, y'all start tussling. Fam, it doesn't matter if he had a gun or not. I don't want to waste y'all time. I've covered this on several videos. Booyaka, booyaka. That's what happens. That's what happens. Hey, look, all I can say is this. I've seen black men run from cops with nothing in their hands and get shot 10 times in the back. I'm trying to think of the brother. It was a brother this happened to. And cops started planting a gun. But it was a kid, it was a young man who was nearby, and he was filming it, and he caught the cop shoot the black man in the back as he ran. Because he had like child support warrant or something. He just didn't want to go to jail. So he's just running away. He was no threat. He's running away from the cops. I don't think that cop went to jail. Why would you think an agent who this guy gave the elbow to, and he did have a weapon, they just took it from him, why would you think something dramatically different is going to happen out of that case? If something different happens, it will be only one reason and one reason only. Because Alex is a white guy. That'd be the only reason why anything happened. And you know what? If it does, it does. I'm not opposed to it happening. But I'm saying it's a lot of conversation, a lot of noise, a lot of hand-wringing, and we got a lot of public officials asking for more drama. And those public officials are not out in the street. They're not risking their lives. They're not trying to block police from doing their jobs. They're sitting comfortably in their homes, going, holding press conferences or going to their jobs on Capitol Hill, telling other people to do stupid shit. Let's keep going, fam. What else we got?
With Tim Black.
Don't take this personally, but everybody just shut the fuck up. Every single hot button issue that comes up, everybody becomes an expert on it. What happened in Minnesota, this woman who is now dead, sadly, she leaves a child and a wife. And it shouldn't have happened. I have a right to comment on this more than 99.9% of all of you. So listen to what I'm fucking saying here. Why? Because I am the protester. You understand this? For 35 years, this is what I've been doing. Thousands of protests, dozens upon dozens of arrests. And the reason I am still here, or I don't have stitches from a fucking billy club, or I don't have marks from a taser, is right here in this image. Every single time that I have been arrested, you will notice my hands I place behind my back as I am told when I get arrested. I do not resist, I do not spit, I do not curse, I do not struggle, I do not fight or be aggressive towards the authorities who are there to arrest me, because when we protest, we step over a line that is there, and that line happens to be called the fucking law. And thank God in this country, we can step over that line sometimes, but we have to understand that we are now in a different zone, because that cop over there, I think his kids got leukemia. That cop over there, I know, was in a bank robbery last night with the thugs, and he got shot at, and he's back out in the street, but he's all high tension. And that guy over there, that cop, I know his wife is fucking a mailman, so I'm in a high tension area. And these fuckers have guns, batons, and tasers. We have a system in this country, it's called a court of fucking law. And whether I'm wrong or right in the situation, officer, I didn't do anything wrong. Put your hands behind your back. Yes, sir. And I will take that up with the judge and prove my innocence. I do not bring the courtroom right there at that high tension fucking moment. Do you get what I'm saying, people? So, this woman would still be alive. I don't think she was the kind of woman that would have done what she did, which was resist and be aggressive towards the authorities, as you see in the video, and you can all fight about that. But let's get to the base here. The base is the wife is probably looking to sue Trump or the police or the ICE or this or the time. She needs to look at the Democrat, liberal politicians, community activists, and the fucking douchebag, motherfucking self-loathing, divisive cocksuckers in the liberal fucking media that tell her and those like her to resist arrest and be aggressively violent towards any authority.
I ran across this video on TikTok, man. He's pretty popular on TikTok. Salvador. If I put this video out separately, I'll put it in the comment section. Well, in the description. Yeah, they're not going to like that one. Nah, they don't like hearing truth like that. You know what I'm saying? That's going to piss them off. He's right. They're going to go at it in the comment section. You know, I keep saying how insulting it is to Black America, because we always hear this thing where Black Americans are raising their kids to say, keep your hands on 10 and 2, and, listen to all, obey all traffic laws, or obey the cops. They say, get out, get out. We tell our kids all this shit because we know cops will shoot us. But see, I believe that the people, the liberals that are out there protesting, I don't think they believe they'll get shot. I think they truly believe that because they're white, they won't get shot. And that only Black people get shot. And they find it out now. Man, they F-A-F-O all day, fam. Yeah, they get the picture now. Yeah, those agents are letting them know. No uncertain terms. That gun, that bullet, that gun is equal opportunity guns. Which kind of like destroys the narrative the Democrats have painted that, that the whites won't get destroyed, Because, I knew it. I don't know, this idea that white people won't get shot by cops is crazy. That cover story is like Tony Temper. They smothered the guy and then threw him in a ditch and told his mom, hey, he fell out. I don't know what happened. They're white guys. I saw a white kid get shot at a hotel. He had a little play gun or some shit. They told him to cross towards him, and he just knew they was going to execute him, and they did execute him. I remember the homeless guy up in the hills. one of the first stories I covered in California. I think his name was Kelly or something. It was a firing squad. I mean, it doesn't happen as often, but it happens. In fact, we really don't know how often it happens because there's no mandate to show just how many times cops kill people. You know, it's just no way to know. But see, this idea, it's like this fallacy. And I think they do this for a reason, fam. See, look, I think it's two things. I think they play down the idea, the truth, that cops will shoot anybody. They play that down because if the good old boys actually thought they were going to get shot by cops, there'd be a lot more good old boys shooting back at cops. Okay? Because they have a whole different mentality about getting shot at. Right? Just because they see themselves shooting at themselves. You know what I'm saying? And that power structure, they don't like that shit, so the good old boys don't like that. So they got to keep that lie going because they want white people to think they won't get shot. That this only happens to blacks because it also feeds into the narrative, the lie, that black people are so violent they got to get shot. And that this country's so racist that you got to shoot them. Now, the country is racist. Yeah, it's got a lot of bias in this country. We got way too many movies, way too many books. The top-selling movie, the first movie, Blockbuster, was a movie that was totally racist. Birth of a Nation. It was all about how the Klan was the hero. They went to lynch a Negro. The president invited them to the White House and gave them a plaque or a medal or some shit for a movie that was applauding the Klan. And we got people that, we got people that don't live in reality. That's all. So two things can be true at the same time. One is they want white people to think you won't get shot, and they just showed you they will shoot your ass. And now I think white people are getting the idea that, hey, you know what? Yeah. You thought it was just George Floyd. You were kind of detached. I know there was white people out in the street for George Floyd. Hey, poor the black people are getting beat up and the black people are losing their lives. Well, now it's your turn. Because y'all listened to the Democrats who became even more desperate and told you need to get out in the street, you need to be stepping in their faces, you need to be resisting. Fam, all this resistance talk, resisting arrest is not the way to go. When I look at film from the 60s, when black people were doing sit-ins and doing shit like that, they knew they were going to get arrested. They didn't fight getting arrested. They didn't fight following whatever the cops told them to do. They went there knowing a certain amount of us are going to get arrested today. And you go in and you know it, and you don't cause trouble because they will beat the shit out of you. They will shoot you if they have to. If they feel that if you give them too much trouble, they'll just say, hey, reach for my gun, pop, pop, pop. And I don't think Alex Petty and I don't think Renee Good thought about it that way. Because they weren't saving anyone by what they did. You keep hearing these people talk as if Renee Good was saving a child from a burning building and Alex Petty was saving a woman from being violated. And none of that was happening, fam. The woman that he decided he wanted to block the ICE and do this shit for, she's fine. I don't think she got a bruise on her thigh. He is gone. His parents or his wife or his family, his ex, his child will have a great settlement coming. But it ain't the same thing as them having Alex. And Renee Good's wife will get some money, but it ain't the same thing as having Renee. And I just wish we keep it a little real about what's been happening in this country. But that's too much to ask for because we got the Democrats who, without this resistance shit, without this playing this up like, oh no, they got nothing going on at all. I mean, real talk, Johnson. If they weren't doing this, what would they be talking about? They don't run any section of our government. They're out of power. Their ratings tanked. I mean, fam, their ratings are at an all-time low. They've never been lower. Democratic Party favorability is at an all-time low. Congress favorability is at an all-time low. What else do they have except hate of Trump? Hate for policies. And the only way to keep it going and keep people interested is to say, you got to fight. And I guess if you drop a few F-bombs, that's supposed to make people believe you mean business. They mean business. Business for their party. All right.
I was looking at Fox News the other day, and they were showing Minneapolis and all the protesters out there. And it was actually Gutfeld's show, I believe. And one thing they brought out that I 100% agree with is all you seen out there was females. Now, you seen a few men here, there, and now and again, getting in people's face. But it was mostly outraged, crazy liberal women. Predominantly white liberal women. Now, when I was watching, Ilhan Omar was out there. But she was very, very calm and very reserved. I seen a black woman yelling and screaming and crying because they went into the home and they took out a man, and he looked like he was black. I don't know if he was where he came from, but he looked like he was black. That just goes to show you that not everybody who is black is a foundational black American. And so we're not all the same, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't mean to get into all that, but I just wanted to drop that little nugget to y'all. Kind of like Haiti and all them and Africans that are true African. We not the same. They don't even like us, okay? But nevertheless, it's females that are leading the charge against ICE agents. And they look pretty dangerous to me. Very dangerous, actually. They yelling and screaming and getting in front of vehicles, jumping on vehicles, just acting a plum D fool. But notice I said how Ilhan Omar was acting very reserved. Now, she was out there, she said her little speech, but she was very reserved with her speech. What I'm trying to say is they're using people to do their dirty work. These women actually think that they are doing God a service. They actually think that the ICE agent, as the black woman from Black Lives Matter said, are unalivers and demons, but they are not. Black Lives Matter women and white liberal women are indoctrinated, and they are totally disassociated from reality. And those political beasts such as Ilhan Omar are pulling their strings while staying in political power, knowing that she is graping the people for every cent that they got. And let's not forget, she is in fact Islamic. And we know that they want to enter into every house in America. It's a big game, a big using game. And at the end of the day, all those white liberal women and those Black Lives Matter women will lose. They just don't see it yet, but I see it clear as day. I refuse to be a slave for those in political power. All I have to say about ICE in Minnesota, ICE, ICE, baby. Get these people the heck out of our country.
Next.
I don't know, I was with her there for a minute, but she got into the Muslim thing and the Islam thing. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that part, so I'm going to skip over that part because I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, it's kind of weird being in the country you hate. You know? I feel like Ilhan doesn't like America. And having a solidarity to another country. I don't know. I don't feel that's good when it's Israel or if it's Somalia. You know what I'm saying? But put that aside. I'm thinking about this part where she says the liberal women out there, the liberal white women out there making all the noise and acting crazy. Yeah. It's virtual signaling. And you know what the thing is? They think they're doing the right thing. I would say these people believe they're doing the right thing. They don't realize that they are tokens to a system that people are using in order to better their political party. It's advantageous for them. I mean, that's all it is. And I think that they mean well. They're doing the wrong thing for all the right reasons in their own minds. And that's why it's so dangerous, because people think they're fighting a power that means them harm. And they believe there are people that they are listening to in the media that are telling them, this is what you got to do. This is what we got to fight. We got to stand up. And Trump is doing this and Trump is doing that. And damn it, we got to fight. We can't just let them walk all over us. And we got to, and that's what they believe. And that's what, like I said, that makes them very dangerous, because they believe in what they're doing. They're not part of a ruse. They're not. The people that are out there that are not, well, some of them are getting paid. For some of them, this is a job. That's why they were able to do it during the daytime. I mean, what family do you know? It's two adults in a family with kids are able to be at protests during the day. Not many, right? Not many. Most people, somebody got to go to work. I mean, I got my own business, but I'm working 80, 90 hours a week. I don't got time to be out in the streets tracking ICE to see what ICE is doing. So yeah, to be able to do that, you got to be in a certain financial position. Or maybe that's your job, but you're getting paid to do it. A stipend, so that you can continue to be out there doing it. Yeah, man. It's like if somehow the media, if the media faucet was able to stop long enough, sort of like the movie Drop Squad. Anybody know the movie Drop Squad, where it was like black people? There was an organization that worked behind the scenes to go get black people that were needing deprogramming from the system because they had become sellouts. And then Drop Squad were the people that would come get you and bring you to this house, a safe house, where they would re-educate you, open your eyes to what you're believing is false, and try to get you on the right track. I know Eric LaSalle from, God, what was that? I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, whatever it was. Anyway, the Stay Glow Soul Food Curl, whatever. Yeah, anyway, Coming to America. Eric LaSalle was Coming to America. Yeah, fam, that's it. Look, it's hard to convince a person that what they're doing is wrong when they have a lot of, there's millions of dollars every day being pumped into the liberal propaganda machine to tell people that what they're doing is right. And this is the thing you should do. And they believe Rachel Maddow. Look at Joy Reid. Joy Reid got fired from MSNBC, and she is still saying the same shit. And so is Don Lemon, but he's just adding F-bombs to it. And people are going, wow, it's radical. There you go. He's a fighter for us. And we got goofies on like YouTube. I saw this one guy. I saw a guy on YouTube praising Don Lemon, how bold he's gotten. I saw Godfrey the comedian doing the same thing, just praising Don Lemon, his friend. People have made a decision about their pockets. They have made a decision about their pockets, fam. Imagine being pro-black and your family being immigrants, and you fighting for Don Lemon, who's fighting to keep immigration basically an open border. That's crazy. And for some, and we're so split as black community, some of us agree with Godfrey. Yeah, we should have everybody be able to come over here. And it should be an open border. And people should be able. And Don's right. And I love Don's. Now he's free from CNN. And he can really stand up for us. Don Lemon ain't saying nothing different than he was saying when he was working at CNN. He just now gets to say an F-bomb afterwards and wait for you to clap. Anyway, back to what the sister said, man. I agree with her. I agree with a lot of what she said, There are people, but the only thing I would add to her is there are people those people that you see out there that are in that shit, they're not doing that. Lots of them are not doing it just a virtue signal. I used to think that. But now that they know cops mean business, ICE means business, Department of Homeland Security means business, them people believe it. which means expect more pain. Oh, and more bodies.
Next up with Tim Black.
Vacation, children who have been kidnapped.
Did you just say ICE officers are militia?
Yes, have you not been paying attention?
Yeah, I
they
think
certainly
you're
mirror
stretching
the
a little
Gestapo.
bit. You know, that's very.
I don't think I'm stretching anything. I think we have seen,
That's
what we have
wonderful.
not seen,
You know,
what we have
this
not
is
seen are
actually
gang members committing
this is
violence.
a
What we
federal
have
and
seen
state
are ICE
mandate.
agents
You're
Hold on one
pushing
second.
that a little bit
But
there.
Tiffany,
That's
you're
that's
saying
way
that
outside.
you're just making a supposition here. There's no concrete evidence
You
of
got to
actual
be careful.
Proud
That's
Boys members.
that's way
there was
outside.
some supports.
DHS.
There was
These
some
are
men and
well,
women
actually,
serving
well,
the
actually,
government.
we have seen white supremacist tattoos
Risking their lives,
on-
serving the government,
risking their
and you're
lives, they're
calling them,
taking lives,
You're calling them
Kevin.
Proud Boy militia.
You're-
Did you say that?
Well,
I did not call
there
them
has been
Proud
some
Boy
reporting
militia,
that
but
Tom
I think it's
Homan coming-
disgraceful
You're
that you're
way
sitting
outside.
here.
Tom
Way
Homan
outside.
coming
I'm
to
actually not.
be
But I
put in
think that there
charge.
are white supremacist tattoos on their
White
necks. We have seen-
supremacist federal officers.
Yeah, white supremacist
Okay,
federal officers.
Like, where are you going with this? Why would you say that?
I'm going with my eyes, ears, and logic. There have been multiple ICE agents who have white supremacist
Men and women
tattoos
All right.
on
working
their
for the
necks.
Let me-
federal
let me let
government,
Jim have a
risking
word.
their
Recording
lives,
and video.
carrying out a mandate, and they're white supremacists?
Yeah,
Yes,
Hold on,
and you're
hold
a
on.
member of a cult, so I
Hold
don't
on.
expect you to have
Whoa,
logic.
Let Jim have a
whoa,
word. Go ahead,
whoa,
Jim.
whoa.
I think the generalizations here are a bit of an overreach.
Yeah,
That
and
being
let's
said,
not make
that-
personal.
What about if you're not left or right? You're just a taxpayer like me, a lowly taxpayer, and I'd like to investigate fraud. I want my money back if it was stolen from me. Is that okay or is that not okay?
Hold on a second, guys. I got to address this, man. And look, man, look. We good. Michael, and I don't want to have to say this more than once. It's been a rough night. Listen, family, this idea that these people are Gestapo, that these are Nazi foot soldiers, that these are Nazi stormtroopers that are deporting people, that are looking for people with warrants or deportation orders who've been violating that, that's crazy. Fam, for God's sake, family, somebody, look, man, I know I got some black women that watch me. You kind of pissed off with me because I thought, that, what's her name? Because Christina Payne, I thought she poked Corey Holcomb first. And I said people need to keep their hands to themselves. I had to clean that up. Looks like Corey know he had sold to that woman, so I had to address that and say, okay, I got that one wrong. Corey, keep your hands to yourself, man. What's wrong with you? Why you gonna be telling jokes in jail, fam? But listen, Tiffany is a whole different thing. That's separate, man. Believe me when I tell you I love black women, but Jesus Christ, family, we gotta draw the line here. Family. Two. Everybody say it with me. Two people have died by ICE agents. 3, actually, because no one talks about Keith Porter. 3 people have died at ICE by the hands of ICE. We're going to cover a little bit more about Keith Porter tonight because we need to. 3, family. Do you know how many regular U.S. citizens have died by the way of cops in this year? We all know it's more than 3, right? But Tiffany's talking about ISIS Nazis. Family, ICE is nothing but cops. A different kind of cop, but it's still a cop. Right? That's the same. I mean, the word ICE fits into the word police, right? You think that's an accident? Police. Way more people have died at the hands of the state troopers or the sheriffs or whatever, right? Even probably in your own state. Okay? In D.C., I'm pretty sure there's been some deaths by cop. In Memphis, in Chicago, in wherever you live, North Carolina, wherever you are, fam, South Carolina, wherever you at, Texas. But the Democrats want to make this seem like this is an ICE issue, and ICE are the Nazis. Family, 32 ICE people, 32 people that were held in ICE detention centers died in the 2025. For every 200 Americans that die in U.S. prisons, only 1 ICE person dies per 200. You are 188 times more likely to be a U.S. citizen dying at the hands of cops, and you ought to be an ICE detention person. And I got her. We have her calling them Nazis and saying all this over-the-top shit. Family, it's just for votes. I don't care if you like me, if you think I'm loud, or you think I'm abrasive, whatever you think, fam. The numbers are the numbers. You know who Ryan Coogler is because they showed you. You know who he is because he's getting some airtime. You know who Jasmine Crockett is because she's been getting a lot of airtime for the last couple of years, right? That's why you know who Jasmine Crockett is. You know there's 100 other women in Congress, you don't even know their names? There's one Shontel Brown out of Ohio. You probably don't know anything about her. She's in Congress. But see, you know about her because they talk about her because she's been given airtime. Same thing with ICE. Same thing with ICE. And it's disappointing as hell. Tiffany's one of those people that talk like, you got to be educated. If you're not, you got to be curious and look up information. And I love Mark Lamont here because Mark's so smart and all this shit. What's he doing slumming with people that aren't as smart as him? Well, if Tiffany Cross is so smart, she would understand math. And math would tell you that if for every 200 American citizens died at the hands of prisons or penitentiaries in the United States, and only one ICE person died, that would tell you it's a lot more dangerous to be a regular U.S. citizen. Because it is. These people are phonies, they're fakes, they're liars, and they're part of a system that benefits from all that shit. That's all it is. Let's listen to what the rest they have to say. Now, the rest of this is going to be about the fraud in Minnesota, and none of them want parts of that, right? None of them want to talk about that. They want to go talk about other shit.
A bit of an
yeah,
That
and
being
let's
said,
not make
that-
personal.
What about if you're not left to right? You're just a taxpayer like me, a lowly taxpayer, and I'd like to investigate fraud. I want my money back if it was stolen from me. Is that okay or is that not okay?
Listen,
I want my money back.
Well, hold on. I mean, look, Kevin, the fraud is being has been investigated, is
Why aren't we
being
talking about that?
investigated. People are being prosecuted. The DOJ could be talking about that, but what they decided to do instead was send immigration officials into Minnesota, presumptively because they thought that the fraud was coming only from foreigners when most of the Somalis who they were targeting.
I don't care where it's coming from. I want my money back.
So,
Right, but what she is saying is that nothing they are doing, nothing they have done
to do with
is
fraud.
helping you get your money back.
I
Also,
represent taxpayers, and I want my money back.
Then if you represent taxpayers, then tell the
by the way,
president
let
that
me
you
just-
should
There's
let me
red
just circle
taxpayers,
back.
that
blue
he's spending a
taxpayers.
ton of money
Okay.
to terrorize.
Let me circle back with Jim on this one
city.
thing.
They chose to they killed the wrong guy, right? Because this is like the perfect guy. Alex Preddy is the guy you would want to date your daughter. The guy you would want your son to grow up to be a decent human being who was serving humanity, serving sick veterans, who is, there is nothing that has been said about that man that isn't wonderful. And so they can't malign him. They can't malign him because we have the videos.
Next up with Tim Black.
They can't malign him. You mean other than a video where he was spitting at the police, cursing, and broke the bumper light, the rear lights out of their truck? You mean other than that, right? Cursing, cursing at them at the top of his lungs, and yeah, I guess that's fine. Look, I don't know. Maybe I've been hearing people talk about this gun-toting thing. I've been hearing everybody talk about the gun-toting thing and how they're appalled at the far right or the right is saying that this probably wouldn't happen if he didn't have that gun on him. I don't know if that's true because I've seen so many situations where officers say you got a gun when you don't have a gun and then a gun appears. Like I know in Baltimore, they was playing guns like hotcakes. And I don't think that's special to Baltimore, but just so happens the Baltimore police had the special body cams that start recording before you hit record. So they were always recording. And then when you hit record, it's like it actually pre-records 30 seconds. So it saw the cops planting evidence. So I don't know, man. It's just crazy that Ana Navarro is that delusional that she doesn't understand that we have footage. And the footage shows Alex Pretty, you know, and the fact he had a gun on him, I don't get it why you would need to have a gun on you when you at a protest that's fully loaded like that. I mean, it's just an excuse. I mean, I know why Kyle Rittenhouse had that gun on him. At least he was open carrying. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, cops will say you got a gun when you don't have a gun, and I'm sure they're going to say it if you do have a gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, this is like a bad situation. It really is. I don't know if that means he's a great guy and people need to hang out with him. Why? Because he didn't want people to get deported? That makes him a great guy. I don't know. Because he was a nurse? It's a job. You know, we got people to do jobs all the time. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. But I like what Kevin Lloyd was bringing up about the fraud. It's just Democrats don't want to talk about it because it makes them look bad because, well, this governor is a Democrat. So they don't want to talk about the fraud. But if that fraud would have been detected anywhere else, same thing with Republicans. If the fraud was in a red state, it would be quiet as shit. The Republicans probably wouldn't be talking about it, right? We know this, right? So we're not going to act like we, let's keep it a buck. Let's be real, Johnson. It's all politics. Democrats don't want to talk about Minnesota fraud because it's a blue state with a blue governor, with a voting base that votes Democrats. Like 90 people got arrested. Like 80 of them pled guilty. And we're still having a debate if the shit was wrong. And we're talking about billions of dollars. It's crazy. But we all know if it was if the shoe was on the other foot, and it would have been, I don't know, Texas, Republicans would be like, shh, shh. It'd be quiet as fuck. If it was Mississippi, they'd be quiet. So yeah, what I'm saying is it's typical. It's just typical. So yeah, that's what I want to make sure people know that I know Republicans are playing the same way. That's all. That's what it be known that I realize that because it's important. If we're going to keep it real, we got to keep it all the way real. Yes, Tiffany, deplorable, this shit she talking about. Calling cops Nazis because they did be in deportations. What about being Nazis for shooting the shit out of us for 250 years? What about that part? Why are they now they Nazis? Where were they when they blew off Tamir Rice's head? Where were they when they shot up Sonia Massey? They weren't Nazis then? Oh, it's only when Eduardo, who ain't supposed to be here anyway, got to go home. Now it's Nazis. Huh? I remember when I was a kid, I remember hearing about Kent State. Kent State is where the cops, the National Guard, opened fire on a bunch of Kent State students. All white kids, too. Tore their asses up. I think they were protesting the Vietnam War or some shit. Yeah. It was like our little Tiananmen Square. I wasn't here. I was, but I remember reading about it in the 80s or something. Like something I ran across. I used to do a lot of reading. Not as much as Cat Williams, but I read a lot. I used to go to the bookstore a lot. It's the only thing I could do. My parents moved me to a neighborhood. I think they thought we were moving on up, but it was basically middle class, or lower middle class, really. And there was a bunch of white kids that didn't have everybody really play with like that. So I went to the bookstore all the time. So Kent State is the name of it. Look it up. And what's it got to do with this? Not much, other than the fact cops been copping and National Guard been National Guarding. It was at a university, they called the National Guard. It's just that people talk like some of the things that are happening now never happened before. And that's just because Trump's in office. We've been doing deportations for a long time, Johnson. And cops and DHS and government agents and National Guards been stationed in different places in the country, and they have shot people. It's really not a new thing. It's just a thing they're using right now, and that's what they want you to focus on. Where are we at here, Johnson?
You know, blame is very interesting, but facts are more important.
So they want to, so this is Ilhan Omar. I saw the beginning of this. And the reporters asked Ilhan, since being attacked with the vinegar, the guy that sprayed her with apple cider vinegar, since then, this is her first speech after that. And they want to know who she blames for the guy spraying her with apple cider vinegar. You're welcome.
And what the facts have shown since I've gotten into elected office is that every time the President of the United States has chosen to use hateful rhetoric to talk about me and the community that I represent, my death threats skyrocket. For 4 years, when he was in office, the first 2 years I was state rep, and the last 2 years I was a member of Congress. It was maybe my second or third week when he started attacking me. I became a freshman who nobody should have actually known I existed because I wielded no power, to having the most death threats of any member of Congress. To the point where I had to have 6 Capitol Police officers providing 24-hour detail to me and my family. He left office. Well, he was defeated. And Biden got elected. And for 4 years, it almost plummeted. Then he came back into office, and he reassumed his vitriol. And now, my death threats are the highest of the members of Congress. And last night, the man that attacked me was specifically upset that Trump's order to deport Somalis was not yielding enough deportations of Somalis. So he wanted to come get the person he thought was protecting the Somalis. Well, we are protected by the Constitution. That's right. I'm sorry to tell you the truth. We are protected by the Constitution. And so I do believe that the facts of the situation are that I wouldn't be where I am at today, having to pay for security, having the government to think about providing me security if Donald Trump wasn't in office and if he wasn't so obsessed with me. It is ironic that just last night he was on stage moments before I was attacked talking about me. And then when asked about my attack, he said, I don't think about her. Does he not remember? Is he suffering from dementia? How do you spend 20, 30 minutes on stage obsessing over me by name multiple times, and then moments later say, Ilhan Omar, I don't think about her. So hopefully that answers your question.
Well, first things first. I don't think she's totally wrong about the death threats. In fact, I think she's being honest. That's something that's easy to fact check. Yeah, so I don't think she would make that up at all. I think she's being honest about the death threats that are coming her way. Here goes something, though, Johnson. You don't think it has something to do with the fact that Trump comes out of your mouth a lot? I'm just saying, I think it does come out of your mouth a lot. I think Like, for instance, if you was a friend of Trump's, right? Do you think he would be talking shit about you in a negative way if y'all were friends? If you were a Republican, right? Do you think he would be shitting on you? Would you be shitting on him? Because there are policies that Trump has that Biden had. There are policies that Trump put into place in 2016 that Biden never took off the books when he took office. I don't think you were shitting on Biden when you got to Congress and he had policies left over from Trump that he never took off. Were you attacking Biden for those policies? I don't think you were. So all I'm saying is, I'm trying to get to the point is that I think that Trump is on your ass because you've been on his ass. Just like, AOC, and just like, that's what the squad did, right? The squad has been on Trump's ass. And actually, y'all guys didn't stop even when he was out of office. I mean, the Democrats didn't stop, and I don't think you stopped. He was out of office for 4 years, and the people kept talking about him like he was still, because he was a threat. Turns out you were right. He was a threat to win again. So, yeah. I don't think Trump talks about you just because you're Muslim or Somalian. I think it's a convenient selling point to his base to talk about it because you stand out, because you are Somalian and you are Muslim. So, yeah, I agree with that. But I don't think it's just because you are somebody. I think there's other stuff that goes along with it, like tonight, calling him dementia, and demented and shit like that. So he's going to talk about you again because you're talking about him. And you were talking about him at the press conference. And, it's just a ring around the rosy. Yeah. Sort of like Jasmine Crockett, who says Trump goes after her for no reason. She had his name in her mouth for, this is my job, so I know for a fact, she had his name in her mouth for 18 months before he said her name one time. He didn't even know who she was. How could he? Why would he know who she is? Why would he know who you are? Because you've been elevated. You were in the squad. Hey, I'm just saying, let's not act as if, act like you guys didn't want the notoriety. Let's not act like you didn't want the fame. Come on now. Your husband's doing pretty good from it. Let's not act like the popularity of your business, your husband's business, has nothing to do with your notoriety. Let's not act like your notoriety hasn't helped the bottom line of you and your husband's business. Let's not pretend. Everybody's not fooled. Some of us eat food, but we're not fooled. You know what I'm saying? We know what's going on. We know it's a game. We know what's happening, man. It's just, cops and robbers, good guys versus bad guys, da-da-da-da-da. We understand the game that's been played. That doesn't mean that there are racists. I will never say that race has no bearing in it. I won't say religion has no bearing in it. These things make you a perfectly good opponent, a perfectly good person to talk about. But he was talking about AOC. He was talking about Jasmine Crockett too. And Pelosi, they just got tired of saying Pelosi. Last thing. The guy who sprayed you with the vinegar, come on, man. You weren't even scared. You were ready to beat his ass yourself, right? What are we talking about? That's the attack? Yeah? Is that the attack? People try to kill Trump. The guy with the vinegar was not trying to kill you. I know you said he targeted you. Yeah, like someone throwing an egg. You know what I'm saying? He sprayed you with vinegar. Yeah, of course. I'm glad it was not something more dangerous or more harmful, right? That's great. But you're playing it up. You're talking like it was like a risk, like your life was on the line. Your life was, If the worst thing you got is somebody throwing some vinegar on you, that in fact, you were about to beat his ass, they basically had to hold you back from beating him up. I saw the clip. We saw the clip. Why are you there? But I know it's the game. It's the game that makes it so important. You have to talk about it. We must look at Trump is doing to me. It's amazing. Yeah. It's good for business for him to talk about you, and it's good for you to talk about him. The end. I'm glad nothing bad happened to you. But cut the shit. Cut the shit. Next.
I am a Mexican American, but I am at risk for ICE stopping me to question me or detain me. And I swear to God, if ICE ever stops me, I am going to comply with every lawful order they make. I'll deal with it in court after if I have to. I'll provide my driver's license. I'll provide my passport number. I'll do whatever I need to prove to these ICE agents that, hey guys, I'm a US citizen. And I recommend all of you follow that same advice. Follow every lawful command. Treat ICE agents with respect, with courtesy. Do not obstruct them from doing their jobs. Do not get in their way. Let them do their jobs. Let them work to protect Americans in this country. Thank you.
Hold on, guys. Hey, man. Damn, it feels good to be a gangster. Shout out to Scarface. Listen, man, I got to tell you, man, it just hit me a certain kind of way when he said that. Because, damn it, I'm a black American. And in my entire life, whenever I was going somewhere driving my car, I'd always be thinking I might get pulled over just for being black. And sometimes I was right. Guess what? Nobody said I was being hunted by Nazis. No one said, oh, it's fascism. It's been my entire fucking life. That's been the situation, being a black man in a metropolitan area. This is what I've dealt with. When I go places that are kind of swanky, like Georgetown in D.C., or DuPont Circle, or wherever there's a lot of the whites who have come from other places in the country that come to D.C., and I go to those places, they'd always look at me like, I don't know if I can trust this one. This has been a life. My entire life has been this way. Yeah, of course, we had marches for George Floyd and Trayvon Martin and Breonna Taylor and Tatiana Jefferson and Sandra Bland. And, we've always had these things, but it never really changed shit. What the immigrants are going through, with the undocumented immigrants, any immigrants like this man who's a U.S. citizen, what they're going through is something that we've been going through forever. And it's a slap in the face that people talk like it's the new shit. It's not the new shit, it's the same shit. It's not the new black, it's the same black. That's all it is. You are just getting what we already got. This has been our existence. Stop and frisk. What is the fucking difference between stop and frisk, checkpoints, and somebody checking you for papers? What do you think they're doing to us? They're checking for papers in a database. They're checking for not just our legal status, or they're looking to see if we got warrants, right? So they're calling up, they're running our names. How's that different than what they're doing to you? Oh, you're being racially profiled. You mean to tell me all this time y'all motherfuckers supposed to get racially profiled? That just goes to show how racist America is. All this time, black people been getting racially profiled in this country. And you guys haven't been getting racially profiled. And now that you get racially profiled, not this guy's cool. But I'm saying now that people other than black are being racially profiled in similar numbers to the way black people were getting racially profiled, now it's time to shut down the government. We need to shut down the government and stop senior citizens from getting their checks. And people that work in the government need to not get their paychecks. Because Democrats want to shut down the government because somebody besides black people are getting the black people treatment. And I'm not supposed to feel a certain kind of way about that. And you're not supposed to feel a certain kind of way about that. You're supposed to be okay with it. And if you don't want to defend them from getting the same treatment you've been getting your whole fucking life, maybe this works on millennials or Gen Z. Maybe this shit works on them. Maybe they didn't grow up. See, I'm Gen X. I grew up with this shit. I grew up in the crack era where you could get thrown against the car at any moment. I grew up in Prince George's County, Maryland. I lived places like Landover, Maryland, Capitol Heights, Suitland, District Heights, where you could get searched at any time. My dad was from Southeast D.C. My grandparents lived in Southeast D.C. You get searched at any moment, pulled over at any moment, no matter. Man, it took me to be about 40 when I started wearing baseball caps in my car. Because that's a reason for cops to pull you over. If you look black and under the age of 40, they trying to pull you over and see if you got a warrant. Because so many black people do, because the system. You understand what I'm saying? And now we got these people that come along who ain't paid any dues in this country, who may get hassled. Oh no. So yeah, maybe this shit works on millennials. And once again, I'm not talking about this guy. This guy, he gets it, man. Sometimes it be this way. It's a small price to pay to make a whole lot more money in this country than you would in Mexico. And this is your country. You live here. This is your country. You're a Mexican American. What you gonna do, leave America? Because somebody might ask you to see your ID? Black people never even considered such. Be clean, don't have no drugs on you. And go to speed limit like the rest of us been having to fucking do all our lives. You know, it's just hard for me. You know? Whenever I hear people complaining about being searched or being asked for their papers and complaining to Nazis, I mean, all I could do is check my pockets. I'm looking under shit. I'm searching for a fuck to give, because I don't give a fuck. I'm fresh out of fucks to give. Why? Because it's just another Wednesday. That's right. Being harassed by cops is just another Wednesday for old Negroes, for FBAs, for foundationally black, for black Americans who grew up here, that been here. It's just another day. Shit, I remember working for an IT company, wearing my IT shirt, had my little shit together, my tie on, my IT shirt envelope, and the cops stopping me at the Metro and patting me down anyway. I was mad as shit. Guess what I didn't do? Jerk away from them, spit on them, kick them. That's how you get into the upper room. That's how you get to the upper room. Now, I'm saying you could do that. I could have resisted. Upper room, here I come. And then my kids don't get to have a dad. Showed them, didn't I? I showed them you ain't going to be violating my rights. That's me as an angel looking down. That's right. Unless you violate me. Now, I like being here. At least, you know, I don't know what the alternative is going to be like. But I like my life here. I don't want to leave it prematurely because I got my ass on my back because I got to deal with the same shit, which is nothing. It sucks, but it's nothing compared to what my ancestors had to deal with. You understand what I'm saying? And you guys are so fucking privileged. You think that is horrible. You act like this is the end of days. That's how privileged you are. Not in my country. Not in my country. We got to fight for our democracy. I just want to get a sock with sand and hit you on the head, Grand Puma style. Fucking prima donnas. Have your paperwork ready. If not, stay in the house and pray. All right, fam. We're almost to the end. I got one more story, I think. Look, go to JoyandTimBlack TimBlack.com. Become a member of the Tim Black Wolf Pack so you can help fund this incredibly honest, most dangerous show in America. People be lying and sugarcoating shit all the time. And tell Deontay, what's his name, DeAndre? Tell him to shut up. Shut your ass up. Talking about delineation like it's a sickness. Motherfucker, we got real problems. Goofy ass. Nothing an internet sensation, high yellow nigga talk about other people online doing shit when he ain't nothing but online doing shit. What are you doing? Your podcast up there shitting on other people. But they be fighting, boy, they be fighting. Comparing black people, tired of, I didn't even mean to go there. It just popped into my head, fam. It popped into my head. Let's keep going. Y'all ready, fam? Go to jointimblack.com, become a member of Tim Black Wolf Pack. We almost done. Thank y'all for hanging in there with me. If you're on X, repost this. If you're on Rumble or Kick, share this with somebody. If you're on Facebook, repost it. What's wrong with y'all? Can't get no reshares? Y'all ashamed of me or something? You don't want people to know you watching the show? All right, let's go. What's this shit?
Now at 4:30, the LAPD is once again being urged to fully investigate a New Year's Eve shooting involving an off-duty ICE agent in Northridge.
The family of that man who was shot to death says it is losing faith that detectives will get to the truth. Our investigative reporter Eric Leonard joins us live in the newsroom. And Eric, you were at the LAPD oversight meeting today?
Yeah, that's right. We're talking about the killing of Keith Porter Jr., who was shot by this off-duty agent at an apartment complex where both of them apparently lived. The LAPD has begun an investigation, but the police chief said today it is possible in cases like this one that they can be taken over by federal law enforcement with little ability for local detectives to work on the case and provide an independent assessment of what happened.
I implore you, push on this. Make the arrest, file the charges. We need justice for Keith Porter Jr.
Keith Porter's cousin back at LAPD headquarters with supporters, urging the Board of Police Commissioners to push for an independent investigation of his death, even if federal agencies try to block it.
So when is LAPD going to draw the line? You guys are not supposed to be complicit with ICE. You guys are supposed to serve the community.
Porter was killed New Year's Eve. The LAPD and the Department of Homeland Security say Porter was firing a rifle in the air to celebrate and was killed when he was confronted by the off-duty agent. The Department of Homeland Security says the off-duty agent began shooting when Porter allegedly refused commands to put down the rifle. LAPD detectives and criminalists were at the scene examining and collecting potential evidence, and at last word, it remains an LAPD, a local investigation.
We respond to the shooting. We safeguard the scene.
Chief Jim McDonnell was asked about situations involving ICE or other federal agents in general terms today. What would happen if there was an on-duty killing like the ones in Minneapolis? Would the LAPD be able to investigate, or would they be pushed out like local investigators there?
At the end of the day, if the federal authorities were desirous of taking over the investigation, I believe that, and we'd have to get city attorney to weigh in on this, but my understanding is they have the right to do that.
Earlier this month, shots were fired by Border Patrol agents during an arrest operation in Willowbrook. No one was hit. And even though the Willowbrook shooting would typically have been investigated by the LA County Sheriff's Department, it says it didn't take a crime report and left it all to the FBI. Porter's family has hired an attorney and says it's considering legal action against the federal government. Porter's family and the attorney there say they have plans to meet with LAPD detectives this Friday. Hopefully, they say, to get an update on the case. So far, the LAPD has said the incident is still being reviewed. It has not characterized whether or not it appears to be a lawful shooting. Reporting live, I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard, NBC4 News. Back to you.
Okay. So Porter's death, we have not determined. The LAPD is only repeating what's been said by the ICE agent. That's all we have right now. All we have is a one-sided argument, one set of facts that were given, or a rundown of details about what took place. from the ICE agent himself. That's it. And that's all the LAPD is doing, is saying this is what they say happened, and that's what we believe happened, and we're still investigating. So there we go. But see, I was on TikTok earlier today looking for content, and of course, that's what I do. I try to find controversial or interesting or important things to share. And I ran across this brother. And this young brother, this young bull, he was anyway, he put out this clip, and I felt it was important to put this clip to you and let you hear it. This, my friends.
Why are you not talking about Keith Porter, the black man that was unalived by ICE? Well, some things I just don't want to talk about. I'm not your local reporter. If I feel like talking about it, I would. But the fact that I actually did some research, I can't believe y'all just had me waste my time. The man was shooting guns on the holiday into the air. And an off-duty officer, off-duty ICE agent heard him. He was a neighbor. Said, "What are those gunshots?" Went out there, and he's holding a rifle. Buddy tell him put the rifle down. He doesn't. And then allegedly shoots 3 times at the officer. Officer shoots back, kills him. What are we talking about? Ain't no way y'all just had me look. Then that whole side is defending Keith Porter, talking about it's a black people tradition to go outside and shoot guns in the air on a holiday. It's still illegal. So what do you expect from an officer? Off duty, on duty, it don't matter. What would you expect from an officer to hear illegal activity going on, hearing gunshots going on in the neighborhood, but y'all expected him to go outside and say, the black people are out, it's their tradition. Let me not interfere. What are you? Then the officer approaches Keith Porter because he's not black, so he has no idea this is a black tradition going on. He's just trying to look at a guy that has a rifle in his hand shooting in the air. He says, put the gun down. Keith Porter doesn't put the gun down. Whatever happens, Keith Porter fires at the officer. Officer shoots back. Keith Porter dies. And y'all are mad at the officer? If that's what really happened, get off my phone.
Okay, first of all, you said you're not a reporter. We know. You're also not curious about facts. You're just a person that reads stuff and pretty much says whatever the system tells you to say. I don't think you're much of a commentator either. I don't know if you're somebody operating in good faith. I've never heard from you before. But if you say you didn't want to talk about something, maybe it would have been better for you not to talk about it, because the deceased person deserves more attention and a more critical eye than you. You know, just going along with whatever the ICE agent says. Next thing, there are white people and black people that shoot guns on New Year's. That's not just a black thing. That's an American thing. There are not that many of... If the fact that you don't know that there are people that shoot guns in the air, that shoot off guns on New Year's, means you are very much you're an inexperienced person living in America. Like, I don't know where you've been. I don't know if you've been anywhere. Basically, not enough places to give informed commentary probably on any subject that require experience. And for you not to look that up, to determine, that's a ritual, a normal practice, a habitual practice across the country. Sort of like 4th of July. 4th of July, people light fireworks. There are some places where it's illegal to light fireworks. There are other places it's not illegal. And shooting guns off is not a crazy thing on New Year's. It'd be a crazy thing, maybe any other time of the year, but not on New Year's. Third thing, fam, if all we have is the word of a cop with no evidence whatsoever, no body cameras, no witnesses, is it crazy to be like, hey, we don't know what happened, let's investigate this? No, it's not crazy to happen. You, for instance, you're like a young black man who could be driving in a car one day, and somebody could pull you over, a cop, for instance, and maybe just so happens it's late and his body camera just ain't working. And all of a sudden, you are no longer with us. You have went into the upper room because, well, that guy just felt like he didn't like, your smart mouth or the music you were playing. Or maybe his wife cheated on him that day. Or maybe he just found out he's bankrupt. Who knows what's going on? Maybe he's part of the Klan. I don't know. But for whatever reason, he decided, we don't need you. You just another N-word. Maybe he could think that. Or maybe he could just think you're a smart ass and he would rather get you off the planet for whatever reason. If there is no evidence to prove that this was a justification for this, a legal justification, your parents and people that care about you would probably be like, we need to investigate. We need to look into it. That's how things are done. Black life is as important as any other life. If he was white people would be saying, and I'm sure, if he was a white man shot by the ICE agents, you don't think white people would be wanting to know, was it necessary? Why is it that it's totally not necessary to find out with this brother? One thing I can't stand, man, is brothers who don't give a shit about other brothers. You could be him. In fact, the probability of you being him is a lot higher than it would be for a white guy. You should watch your mouth and watch your tone. You young and you black. That's all you need to be. All it takes now is wrong place, wrong time. And ding, ding. The witch is dead. Yeah, man, I got a problem with brothers doing this, man. I got a problem, man. Everybody wants to make content. Why even make a video? Why not just shut the fuck up? Why do a video about a situation that you're too lazy to look up? I mean, in Baltimore, they were planting evidence on Negroes. And I want to say, I hate using the word Negroes. In Baltimore, they were planting evidence on people. And it's not just a Baltimore thing. In Chicago, cops shot a kid 9 times. Laquan McDonald got shot how many times? He had a pocket knife. And if it wasn't for the CTV footage from the Burger King down the block that caught it, he would have got away with it. They kept shooting him when he fell on the ground. But you think that because an ICE agent said it, it must be true. To the point you would cuss, man, look, man, if you want to kiss people's ass to get views and clicks, I get it, man. It's my fault. I paid attention to you. I shouldn't have paid attention to you. I don't need to get upset about you. It's too many people like you. It's too many brothers like you. You know what I'm saying? You're not a brother. You're a black person. It's too many people like you. You know what I'm saying? For me to get upset about you. I'll be upset all the time if I let people like you get me hot. You know what I'm saying? I don't accept the story given to me, I will not accept the story told by the ICE agent by himself without evidence. Nobody should. You know what? Because if you said the cops shot your friend or your wife or your dad or your cousin, and you didn't have evidence, they wouldn't listen to you. So why do you think we should take the word of a ICE agent who could have shot him reflexively? Do we know if the ICE agent was sober? It was New Year's. The ICE agent was in his house. Could the ICE agent have been drinking? Could the ICE agent have been smoking some weed, twisting up trees? You don't know. You think that Keith Porter just said, let me shoot at the cops? He wants to go into the upper room. I don't know. It's possible he did. It's possible Keith Porter owed money and wanted to leave and wanted his people to get a settlement. I don't know. Anything's possible, but that's the thing. Anything's possible either direction. So you know what people want? They want his name to be mentioned because we don't know, sir. And then when we don't know because cops said it. We know after an investigation. And even after that, we really don't know. You know, the fact you don't know that means you don't know what the fuck you talking about. Meaning, you probably should do something else. Look, man, just do music reviews. You know what I'm saying? Review music or, yeah, man, like, what's it? Kanye just wrote a letter apologizing for all this bullshit. You know, you could talk about that, and people get upset if they don't like your opinion, but at least then you wouldn't be talking about a dead brother, you know what I'm saying, who left his kids behind, and not even have the decency to look up shit. I expect this of a bigot. It's just disappointing when it's a black man who fits the actual demographic of people this type of shit be happening to, that I have researched, that I have studied, that I've seen in numerous times, end up with the porter, ending, who shouldn't have. And if that happens to you, you better hope it's people like me and people like them people that wanted them to look into it, to say, hey, let's force the issue. Let's make sure Los Angeles Police Department does its job. That's the same thing they would do if it was a white American or a Latino American shot by ICE. Why don't you think we deserve that? Anyway, guys, it is what it is. He probably only put this out there to get views. So look, we just helped him. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. How can you be too lazy to do a video, then do the video and complain, why'd y'all make me do this video? Why'd y'all make me look something up? Some ignorant shit, man. Fuck him. All right, guys, look, my name is Tim Black. You know what we do here. We'll be back on Friday to finish off the week. Well, no. Yeah. We're going to finish off the week on Friday with a bang. Thank y'all for your patience. It was a rough one tonight as far as technical stuff, but we got through it anyway. Become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. You know where to go. If you want a Tim Black mug, go to TimBlackMug.com. Yeah, TimBlackMug.com. I almost forgot my own website address. Haven't talked about that in a month. Get a Tim Black mug, go to TimBlackMug.com. $20 to your door. How about that? Anything else, fam? Well, you've just been watching the most dangerous show in America. I'm your host, Tim Black. You know how to reach me at tim@TimBlackTV.com. That's my website, TimBlackTV.com. Even though this guy was an asshole, whoever he was, the reasons why I do this show, pretty simple, right? I care. That's it. And also, because of this. Do me a favor, y'all. Stay dangerous. Where are my ladies? Where?
Now.